The Green Room at Lift Vancouver is brought to you by Cloud9 Cannabis Coaching. If you have suffered from anxiety, chronic pain, or depression, like I have, you know full well how debilitating it can be. Brady Sparrow, founder of Cloud9 Coaching, specializes in microdosing cannabis to help her clients lead more balanced lives. Whether you've been using cannabis your entire adult life or just now learning about this incredible plant, Brady's simple microdosing guide will help you find the perfect balance in just 1 month. Brady is about to host her first 30-day challenge called Find Your Cloud9 in 30 Dope Days. I'm doing it and you should too. So why not go over to cloud9coaching.com and join us. Be sure to use coupon code Jackie, JACQUI, for a special Green Room discount.
What's going on, everybody? We're back at Lift&Co. We are here with the president from CFAM, Gerald Major, Jackie Childs.
Still
and we
here.
have our new guest, David Hyde.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Nice. How's it going? Good, thank you.
Welcome
Great.
to the Green Room.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So, what's new?
2020, what's new? Give us some...
Yeah, well, look, it's going to be an exciting year. It's a difficult year in many parts of the cannabis industry, and sometimes with challenge comes opportunity. So I think people are going to have to work really hard to find their lanes. We're going to see, I think, a lot of interesting moves made in the industry, some buying, some selling, some shifting, some Ontario retails coming, ramping up, so a lot of interesting things happening. And I think we're going to see people that really can get their heads around the teamwork, the execution, the strategy, and really put the right kind of game plan together, start to rise to the top. And a few of the more recent entrants are going to have to navigate carefully to really find their lanes now.
Right. What do you do in the industry? Tell us who doesn't know what David Hyde does in the industry.
Yeah, so I'm back on my own again now. I have an independent consultancy. It's kind of where I started the game and where I'm back to now. I've got a small team around me. Really focused on the global markets right now, as well as doing some work in Canada and the US on acquisition due diligence, helping people to figure out, I have this LP, I'm a little bit kind of cash strapped, and maybe can I find a partner or someone to help me? So we're a bit of problem solvers, if you will, using our network, our knowledge of the regulations to really help people navigate their way through these difficult times, and also some work in global markets with governments on new regulations in new countries, as well as companies that want to open up in different markets globally. Yeah,
Well, you've got winning ways. You've done lots with 360 in the past.
that's right.
They were a guest on the Green Room.
Yeah.
Very like him.
That's right. I had a year with 360, very proud and enjoyed that immensely. I stepped away from them fairly recently and kind of back to my roots, if you will. Mm-hmm. I always think doing different things is good experiences, and I learned a lot from that experience. I enjoyed it, but now it's time for me to kind of get back to being me, my small team, and really being able to be nimble and really move with the industry. I'm lucky to have been involved in this for probably 7 or 8 years now altogether. We're right at the beginning of the federal regulations coming in, MMPR, back in 2013. So I've really been able to get granular with what people need to navigate through, and that's really helped me to help people that I work with.
Right.
Well, you've got a lot of experience in it.
Yeah, definitely.
7 years?
Yeah, 7 years. And also going around, it's all very well in Canada, and when I go abroad and talk to different governments or different stakeholders, they say, well, Canada, that's great, but you guys didn't get everything right. And my marketing pitch is, we got some things that Health Canada did very well, but also it's been tough and we've learned lessons, and now we've course corrected. So I'm a big advocate for where Health Canada stands now. They've done a lot of great work to get to kind of where we are, but it was rocky and it was bumpy because it was brand new. Right. So I think I like telling people you can learn from what went right. You can also learn a lot from what went wrong. And blending those two things together is really a path to success.
And the key is learning from those. There's no option to not learn from failures or mistakes because patients pay the price, right? So now we know each other for a while, David. We followed each other before actually meeting. Mad respect, you were one of the first ones here. Instantly supporting CFAM and patients. So let's talk about what you do from indirect reflection to patients. So when you're out there globally and you're transitioning all this knowledge, please tell us some stories where you've come up with some unexpected way that you've touched patients' lives.
Let's talk about Barbados for a minute. We have a conference over there in February.
Let's
second
talk about
conference.
Barbados.
Yeah.
Why not talk about the beautiful island, Barbados? It's
No
idyllic
offense,
place
snowy
to go.
Vancouver.
We're visual learners, David. We need to see and touch.
I can paint a picture for you. But we were over there talking to at the first conference last year, and there were patient advocates there. We brought over people from SHECAN and some of the groups over here in Canada and North America, and we talked about and told the government of the needs to understand what the patients need, that the access to good quality, consistent medical grade cannabis for patients, the need to educate the medical community about what patients need and the supports they need in the community. And we talked also to a lot of the local growers, the people that for generations have been growing for medicinal reasons in their communities. And it's a lifestyle, of course, over there. So really, it's all about getting the right people to get the government's ear early, so that rather than patients being kind of an also thought or an afterthought, they're actually central to how the medical cannabis regulations are approached, and we can make sure that we can make that step. It shouldn't be court decisions that force someone's hand to put the patients first. It should be right at the very beginning in those nascent conversations where government knows this has to be a priority.
So now, are they just medicinal, medical?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what's the rules in Barbados?
Barbados have got some draft regulations in. I do expect to see a medical cannabis regime in 2020 in Barbados, and it will be medical, very big focus on medical. And I think they're doing a lot of things right. St. Vincent also have been involved in talking to the government there, and both of them are really good at trying to bring in, recognize the grassroots, recognize where this has come from, and finding that pathway for the current market, the current growers, the people that for generations have been growing cannabis and using it as part of a lifestyle, as part of a health regime, as part of a lifestyle. But that there shouldn't be a barrier for those folks.
Right.
It should be how do we bring an industry together and
collaborate,
really make it work from the grassroots. And I give Barbados and St. Vincent credit, because the Rastafari are there, the groups are there that are actually have been doing this for generations, and they're in the mix, they're in the conversations, and I'm very impressed with them.
So are the medicinal patients in Barbados, are they being heard?
I'm going to say it's obviously early. I think there's not a lot of organized medical patient advocacy groups in Barbados at this time. I think it's being brought together. But the beauty of taking SHECAN across and groups like that are patient advocates is that when we brought them across and we were all talking on kind of stage, tons of people, like there was 3 or 4 people to talk to me, and the SHECAN, there was like 50 people to huge line. How can we do what you guys do, and what can we do?
And
like,
this is
it's very, very cool.
This is patient-reported outcomes, right? There's nothing worse for a patient than trying to get diagnosed and not being diagnosed, right? The uncertainty of illness is crippling. So the more that we can share and hear, and this is why patients need to be at the table. So this is full authority, David, for you and your global business to mention SHECAN, CFAM, all the great organizations that tie the knots. This is a beautiful partnership that we're creating with Cannabis.Wiki that gives us the opportunity to collaborate. You mentioned earlier teamwork, right? We don't get anywhere without teamwork, and that's industry, patients, patient groups, across the board. So I think what we're seeing now in the industry is what we've all predicted was we're going to see some people rise to the top, and we're going to see a lot of people start to collaborate. So thanks for being part of it.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, collaborate in community. That's what we are at the Green Room.
Yeah.
So what can we expect for you for 2020?
Are you off to Barbados from here?
Yeah, we have the conference there at the end of February. I'm not going to rub it in. I mention it. I might stay on for a couple of days after with my wife. I mean, I won't talk too loud, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the Barbados conference coming up at the end of February. Doing a lot of work essentially on that global side, helping people along. I think really too, it's incumbent on companies like mine that have been doing work in the industry for a while to find opportunities to kind of pay it back a little bit too. I have got some opportunities for we do some benevolent work in terms of working for some nonprofits. I've got a couple of colleges that are doing research programs where we donate our time to help them, and we're also finding those international opportunities. So I try and get a swath of the work we do is work that we just donate our time and our efforts, and of course we're a commercial business, so we do have to make revenue too, but it's kind of a mix, and I like that approach, and I think there are LPs and retailers that are doing that too.
Finally.
I'd encourage more from our industry to really find a way to, it's something like a tithe, if you will, to a degree, but it's taking the time to say, how can we give back, whether it's patient advocacy, whether it's advocating the government for no tax on medical cannabis, what's your part of kind of giving back to this great industry that has given us all so much.
Right.
And I think it's important to do that as part of whatever business you're in.
And cannabis started from a peace and love movement, charity, community. We should give back. So
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I love it. I think the business is in good hands. I think the people that you will come in contact with in the future for cannabis business will be in good hands. Your track record has shown a great deal of what you can do in the industry.
Very kind, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's all about really kind of doing things the right way and trying to be fair and equitable to folks, you know. We've seen a lot of that, but unfortunately there have been some examples where that hasn't really been at the fore.
Right.
And I think that's where you can start to get in trouble, when you start to put the economics ahead, or you start to not really be true to kind of where you came from.
Right.
So I think one of the things that I really enjoy about this is, in the cannabis industry, it's still very personal. It's still very relationship based, and you can sit opposite people and have that affinity that you're all trying to do something that feels good. And I like that about the industry, and I really want to try and maintain that even while it grows and globalizes.
Mr. Hyde, you're a big figure.
Thanks for joining
Let the
us.
people
it's
know
been my pleasure.
where they can find you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm LinkedIn and Twitter is always my kind of stomping grounds. I'm pretty active on social media.
Okay.
I'm at david@hydeadvisory.com is my email. So I have my company now is Hyde Advisory, and again, working with the global industry on cannabis kind of advisory in terms of licensing, etc. And in Canada, helping companies problem solve and figure out how they kind of move down this road, this difficult path in 2020. How can we move down there together and survive this difficult time?
So how'd we do? How'd we do? You like it, Cannabis.Wiki?
Fantastic.
Thanks
Amazing.
for joining
Amazing.
us. Shout it to she can.
Tell everyone about it.
Yeah, no, very, very impressed with Cannabis.Wiki. I've had a great time. We've had
Yes,
interviews
definitely,
before.
definitely.
I'm a big fan, big supporter. It's an important
Awesome.
voice and an important forum to get people sharing their views and really letting the kind of industry out there and people that maybe aren't in the industry see what we're about and see what's important, and hopefully join us and come to our events, the events that you guys organize.
Time to come out of the shadows. It's time to come out of the shadows, right?
It sure is.
This is what the Green Room likes to do. We like to definitely bring the industry and
Community.
CFAM
Yeah, man.
together so that the patients have a voice, the industry has a voice, and the Green Room's provided the table.
Absolutely. No, I really appreciate the invitation, and look forward to chatting again down the road and bringing more news about what's happening out there. And it's perspectives, right? We all see it from different viewpoints,
Yes.
have different historical aspects to it. I've had family touched by illnesses that cannabis has helped, and we've all got that collective experience.
Yes.
And when we can sit down and share those, I think it just means so much more about our journeys through the industry.
Thank you for
It
sharing.
helps to push it
Thanks for
forward,
being- Thanks
definitely.
for joining us.
My pleasure.
David Hyde, thank you very much, guys.
Green Room.
Keep it locked.